Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 1v1 battle. This is going to be the greenskins versus vampire counts. Sorry, I just had to get a close-up of the giant there. His eyes are like dead. When you really get up in the, it's like there's no life there. It's weird. But anyway, so my army is going to be 4 orc boys, 2 on each flank. We have 2 black orcs and then 3 orc biggins. I have a night goblin shaman with the curse of the big bad moon, and then the 2 what is it? Sneaky stabbing, and then itchy nuisance. We also have a orc war boss with a heal potion, 2 goblins on their spider rider. That's pretty standard. And then over here we have the mangy marauders and another goblin wolf rider archer who are going to be immediately starting to shoot down this vampire of shadows who took the pendulum spell and pit of shadows, or pit of shades, one of those things. And so I know I'm going to have to keep a watchful eye on her as she flies around my army because she has very hurting, or spells that hurt a lot. We have a Banshee over here, a front line of skeletal warriors, the Sternsman, Vlad von Karstein, Corpse Card of Unholy Lodestone, Terrorgeist, Vargulf, and then Varix Reavers, who are going to be moving up to, I think around here is where they go. Yeah. So the Vampiress, the Vampire here, is going to fly around my army. I'm still just shooting her with some of my handy dandy mobile archers. She is going to cast, what is the spell called? Immortal Will, that the vampires have. It gives them massive regeneration for a short period of time. And that's okay. That's fine. We're just going through her regeneration. Eventually she will run out. She is going to discover my Night Goblin Shaman, who I kind of wanted to keep away from my army a little bit to just keep them in hiding, but now they know that he's here. So I want to make sure that he's covered so he can't get just charged by the vampire. Meanwhile, the vampire army is going to just be coming down like this. Again, the Varix Reaver is going to be over here, and the puppy's going to be sitting right in here. I decide to stop harassing the Vampire of Shadows, who is now sitting back here, and I'm going to send our archers. I believe I send the normal one, the basic one there, to go and start harassing the Vargulf, and then the armor-piercing one is going to come back and attack the Vampire because she's now on her way back. I'm assuming she's trying to line up for a pendulum spell because she has the pendulum spell, and she's on a flying mount, so like, it's kind of obvious what they want to do. It's just if I can let them do it or not. And again, in the meantime, these are going to start harassing the Vargulf to try and get some action out of that. The Terrorgeist is left behind a little bit, but it is going to eventually fly up here at some point. So there you see we can get some more damage on her with our Marauders. Although a lot of the arrows don't really hit that well. But that's okay. And it looks like she is lining up for a pendulum spell, so I'm just continuously kind of moving our army a little bit at a time, forward, backward, just as long as they keep in motion, and hard to hit them all with a pendulum spell. And here we go, the other normal Goblin Archer is going to start attacking the Vargulf, and that's when the Varix Reavers, who I didn't know were in this game, are going to pop out and they're going to start charging. Now, this unit was on Skirmishing mode, and so I had to take them off Skirmishing to get them to actually move this way, because while on Skirmishing mode, they just wanted to run away from the Vargulf. Here we go, the Vampire's now just kind of hanging out over the army. I wasn't expecting a pendulum spell at this point because she's in the middle of our army, but she did start to cast a Pit of Shades, Shadows, whatever. So, before she started casting, I started to move our army backwards because I thought this may happen. She tried to snag my Black Orc. She did get a couple, but luckily enough, not that many. The Vargulf is going to charge dangerously close to our Orc Biggins and our War Boss party, but it's going to pull back at the last moment. Actually, I think it goes up to these ones here. And now this is off Skirmishing mode, so I'm going to have to continuously give it orders to run from these Varix Reavers. I'm going to try and charge our Orc Biggins and then our War Boss squad into these Varix Reavers to try and shut them down. Meanwhile, I'm going to kite the Vargulf. And the Vampire is going to fly over here, and I believe set up for a pendulum spell. So I'm having to keep my eye on her, also micromanaging these units and trying to run away with this one. At the same time, trying to make sure that I'm not going to be set up for a pendulum spell, because it's obvious what's going on here. Why else would you be at this side of my army trying to line up with the front line of my force? You know, it's like, so damn it. And it was annoying because I'm like, well, I got to continuously move my army. But anyway, over here, the War Boss squad and the Orc Biggins are going to continue to just do some damage to the Varix Reavers. The Varix Reavers really aren't set up to kill this kind of War Boss party necessarily, especially when they're backed up by the Orc Biggins. And here we go, the Vampire is going to line up perfectly. I'm thinking the pendulum spell is going to be coming, and so then I start to move here again, and there we go. I'm moving, and then she casts the spell. They were trying to line it up, and their pendulum spell is going to miss. And I was like, whoo, okay, I got some time before I have to worry about another pendulum spell. Also, they spent a lot of Winds of Magic on that Pit of Shadows and the pendulum. I think together that's around 30 Winds of Magic. Unless they overcast, and then it's even more. So there we go, you can see how much damage the War Boss party did to these Varix Reavers, along with some help from the Orc Biggins. Because they were not able to charge the Orc Biggins really didn't take that much damage. It's the charge from the Reavers that would really deal a lot of damage to these guys, but they didn't get the charge off because they were dealing with our War Boss squad. Meanwhile, our 2 archers are now dealing some more damage to the puppy, and I'm going to try and charge our Orc Biggins in here. I'm going to charge our War Boss squad in here, and the vampire is going to decide to charge into one of our Orc boys, so I'm going to charge our Biggins into her and get some damage on her. And then we're going to be charging in our forces here against the Skeletal Warriors here soon-ish. And the Vargulf is going to start moving up, or not Vargulf, sorry, the Terrorgeist is going to start moving up here soon. Now my War Boss squad is going to take over what the Orc Biggin started, and they're going to deal a lot of damage to the Vargulf, just a massive amount of damage. And it's also getting hit by our archers over there. So this thing is going to break its leadership because the puppy's leadership is very low. And so when it's isolated like that and taking a lot of damage, it can easily crumble like what you just saw. You need to keep it either around your leadership or make sure you're continuously moving it out of bad situations. The puppy's very strong, but it needs to be put in the right situation. So here we go. The clash is going to start here. We got Skeletal Warriors, Vlad on Karstein, the Banshee on our Giant trying to take it down. In the same time, our Giant trying to take out these Stearnsmen. And you can see our Orc boys have already been terrified, but they will come back at some point. I'm casting Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stabbing on the center of this army here. Meanwhile, on the flank, we're dealing with this Skeletal Warrior and the remains of the Varix Reavers. And then we're going to be pulling this force over here. These Black Orcs are going to be micromanaged behind this army as well. And then these big ones are also going to be marched behind as well, because our front line is a lot larger than theirs. They just had a bunch of Skeletal Warriors and a lot of monstrous creatures. Varix Reavers are now going to try and charge our archers, but I think I microed them out of this dangerous situation. And the War Boss squad is going to collapse in on Vlad von Karstein and the Skeletal Warriors here, as Giant continues to just try and destroy these turns. But here we go. Here comes the Terrorgeist. And so yeah, we were able to get out of that bad situation. I threw in our Orc boys to try and stop the Varix Reavers who are going to do a rear charge on our Orc Biggins, but they're so weak at this point that it's really not that much of a problem. So now we're going to do a total surround on the Vampire army. Try and snag this corpse card, trying to kill these Stearnsmen with our Black Orcs. We have Black Orcs here and Black Orcs here? Yeah, or I guess over here. And again, the War Boss squad is just in a duel with Vlad von Karstein, and we have armor piercing and just massive damage overall with these 2 goblins. And so I'm going to eventually, I think, kill Vlad von Karstein here, actually kind of quickly, because we have him kind of isolated from the rest of his troops. So we're just kind of doing a 3v1 here, and there he goes. My Night Goblin Shaman kind of got thrown into the mix, unfortunately, which was not my intention, but he did get killed by this or I should say, routed off by the vampire there. But now we're going to have the War Boss squad converge on the vampire there. I've already popped my healing potion on the War Boss because he did actually take a lot of damage from Vlad von Karstein, or maybe a mixture of him and the Banshee, you know, I don't know, the Stearnsman. Meanwhile, the Terrorgeist kind of flies into the Black Orcs, I'm assuming to try and do some armor-piercing damage, but it's totally surrounded, and then the enemy, I believe, is going to forfeit at this point because they were near the edge of collapse. But good game to my opponent. The puppy, that poor puppy. Again, it's very strong. It's just you need to throw it in the right situation, and fighting off a War Boss and 2 Goblin big bosses is not the situation it wants, at least not alone. If it was rolling around with Vlad in the area and Vlad was like summoning Skeletal Warriors or something, then I think that's a much better situation for the Vargulf. But fortunately for me, I was able to isolate it and destroy the puppy, and also my War Boss squad mostly took care of the Varix Reavers and then came in for Vlad von Karstein. But again, good game. Let's take a look at the kill count. Similar amount of kills on our War Boss squad. Again, the Night Goblin Shaman got caught by the vampire, which I did not intend to, but you know, things happen. The Orc boys did pretty good because they were mostly fighting against Skeletal Warriors, so that's a fight they can easily win for the most part, unless they're terrified, which one of these guys were. The Orc Biggins did pretty good. The Black Orcs did amazing because they didn't really have much to take care of the Black Orcs. There's really no armor piercing here except for the Vargulf and the Terrorgeist. But I was, you know, obviously able to deal with the Vargulf before that. The Giant took a lot of damage from Vlad and the Banshee. And then I guess maybe, you know, a mixture of Stearnsman and Skeletal Warriors. So he got a pretty big beating there. The Archers, I don't know, they did okay. They did some damage to the Vampire. They did some damage to the Vargulf. They, you know, got some shots here and there. At least we got 21 kills off these Marauders. So I think these guys are a solid pick. The normal Goblin Wolf Rider Archers is more situational. But the armor piercings, I think, are definitely a good pick. And then for Myrmidon here, we have 3 kills on Vlad, 7 on the Banshee. But again, I think they're focusing on my Giant. Vampire, 15 kills, and also routed off my Night Goblin Shaman. Skeletal Warriors did okay. Stearnsman, 61 kills is pretty good, considering they were fighting against 2 Black Orcs that were surrounding them. Varix Reavers, we saw what happened to them, and then, of course, a puppy. Terror Guy's got 16 kills in a short amount of time it was there. But hey, you know, sometimes you forget units. I do it. This enemy did it. But at least they realized they did it and didn't forget the unit throughout the entire battle, which is definitely something, you know, I'm not saying I've forgotten an entire unit in an entire battle before. I'm not saying that at all. But so thanks for watching, everybody. Let's go watch a cinematic view of this battle. Go get that puppy. This action here actually led to the destruction of the Vargulf, because I think I kind of pulled them out before the enemy wanted to, but probably felt harassed, so they needed to do something. But also, this was kind of a good setup because they had the Varix Reavers on one side and the puppy on the other, and if I had left these guys on skirmish mode, which they are on right now, and I wasn't paying attention over here, because I was like, well, the Vargulf can't catch us, then I definitely would have just been crushed by the Varix Reavers if I was not paying attention, but I was paying attention, so I was able to pull them out of a potentially bad situation. I think here comes the Pit of Shades, which is a really cool looking spell. A lot of damage if you land it. Yeah, that is so cool looking. Run, Wolf Archers! No! Orc Biggins are not necessarily halberd infantry, but they do. They do well enough with their small bonus versus large. I think it's 7. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. Yeah, smack them. I mean, look how these guys are like almost actually as big as the knights are. They are called Biggins. And this spell looks so cool too. And whoo! Oh, I guess it did catch some of them. But man, those orc boys are probably pretty happy right now. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That was close. Because that would have killed a lot of them. I think right here I popped Foe Seeker and Slippery to try and catch these guys and finish them off. Slippery is the Goblin Big Boss movement speed buff. And charge bonus too, maybe? Sorry, puppy. Can't catch the Wolf Riders. You're not that fast. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh! Whoo! Close. Close. Oh, I did not get a charge off with those Black Orcs. I'm very upset. Those Orc boys ran really fast, but they got hit by terror, so it's understandable. Here comes the summons. But since this fight was kind of centralized right here, that just made Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stabbing just that deadlier for the enemy. Because like really all the fighting is happening within this AoE. Night Goblin Shaman, one of the best casters in the game. I did also bring Curse of the Big Bad Moon, I think I mentioned, but I did not see a situation where I could use that in this particular battle. Because casting it, you know, when the armies met, most likely would have just hurt my guys more than hurt them. Oh, the Terror guys came down to hit my giant. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I said it was attacking the Black Orcs. Oh, I did just kill one. Vlad is tanky, but isolated against the Orc War Boss and then 2 Gone Big Bosses, that's even a tough fight for him. And I think the Giant is a safe bet against Vampire counts. You don't see Terror guys too often, which do have a bonus versus large. Now, you do see Blood Knights. That's why I took the Orc Biggins. I think a Giant is a pretty safe pick against the Vampire counts. Pretty safe pick. It has low armor. It's very susceptible to range fire, which of course they don't have. And again, you just got to look out for the Blood Knights and I guess Terrorgeist. But the Biggins kind of help in that situation. Also, you can just choose like Orc Boar Boy Biggins to keep Blood Knights off of them if you want. Anyway, thought I'd mention that. I think Giant's very good pick against Vampires. Hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day.